So yeah, this past Saturday, which was yesterday, I went to a house party. And it was a lot of fun. Everyone had they required us like they planned us for like a month in advance, and they said everyone's gotta like make sure you give us your vaccination cards at least like your second vaccination card's 2 weeks until
In
before the party
advance.
in advance. And so yeah, everyone there was fully vaccinated. Um, and this is probably the closest everyone's been together because I think there was a lot of people were in different groups outside, so it wasn't as crowded. But yeah, this is what I wore. You can see the only menswear guy here in the bottom left
Mm-hmm.
corner wearing a blazer and jeans together. Everyone okay, so in my defense here, I forgot it was a pool party.
Well,
Uh
ignorance of
and
the
and
law
but
is not an
yeah,
excuse.
and I and I say it's a pool party. It wasn't like there was like food, there was like a mahjong table, there was like poker and Uno and like board game stuff like that. They had music and everything. Um, I I didn't look at the house ahead of time. Um, so maybe that would have told me that, oh yeah, the pool is like the major fixture in this house. Like it's like it's like fucking like a gas fee swimming pool in the backyard. Um, but yeah, so I'm not out of place. There's a guy wearing fucking jeans on the right side. Okay, I'm not like the
Well,
only
you're
guy
wearing a
wearing pants.
blazer.
Yeah, well, that's because I'm always wearing a blazer.
Uh-huh.
You know. Um, but yeah, so I thought we talked about party attire and like what we've done because like we had like my birthday party, which we talked about a couple of weeks ago. It was that Throwing Fits barbecue thing also that we covered. But I mean, yeah, I thought we talked about this a little bit
We
because
could
it's
talk
it's
about it.
interesting.
Let's
Yeah,
talk
I know. I
about it.
put this in our Discord. So I think a lot of people like. I think Spencer, like, if we had another party, like Spencer wore, well, you wore a jacket to my party,
I did.
and MJ wore a blazer to my party, you know, and I feel like a lot of people would be like, oh, I could never do that, right?
Right.
Like
Too
and
advanced.
too advanced. But the thing is, like, we're so used to it, right?
Well, I
Like,
mean, hey,
I never,
the other thing is,
yeah,
as you might get in an episode whenever, you sometimes got to dress for like the person you're going to be hanging out with. So if I'm going
that's what I
to a
think,
party
right?
with a
Yeah,
menswear
yeah,
person, then I will be dressed more menswear. But if I'm going to a party hosted by a non menswear friend, I will probably not wear a jacket.
right. Do you
Well, it
think
depends on what the party is.
that's true? I
Yeah.
mean, what was it that you said this morning? Jay had a party. What was the theme?
Jay was
MJ, you
invited.
got to hear this.
So, well, no, Jay. So Jay
More.
went to. I was invited to a party last night by my friend Jay. He told me the theme was fancy hotel lobby. I didn't go because It was in L.A. And the party didn't start until like 9. I was just pretty tired. I didn't want to drive up and not get back home until like 4 a.m. But anyway, like I mean, what I was telling him, and this is what I would have worn if I had gone. It's like in that case, fancy hotel lobby. The only thing I could think of is like just travel slash vacation. So I would have
Mm.
Yeah,
like
I'm
I
tell
would have
Spencer like you dress like you're going to Disneyland,
no,
so
I
like
would have
wear athletic
worn
clothes.
like I sent Jay like a picture of like Jack Nicholson wearing like a safari jacket, white pants, and just like a runaway collar shirt.
Hmm.
And that's what I would have worn if I had not been super tired and decided to go. Like that's kind of yeah, that's what I that's my party attire, I guess, for
Yeah.
the if I was invited to a fancy hotel lobby party.
What did Jay wear?
I don't know yet. We asked him, but he hasn't gotten back to us. It's a mystery.
maybe he
It's a
maybe he's
mystery.
still there.
He could be. He's. It's like maybe no. It could be like the Tower of Terror, and he's
He
like
just
trapped there.
he just like
Or The Shining.
It could be The
just like
Shining. Yeah.
he just like the
Yeah.
bellhop.
Yeah. He was wearing a little pillbox hat the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, a little portable elevator. Like a little switch to like up or down, sir. What
Yeah.
floor, please?
Yeah.
See, but like this is what I wore is like my party attire. Like
Right.
it's like a rayon shirt, aloha shirt, whatever, blazer, jeans. Either could be. I mean, I'm wearing my Selvage 316 ones there, but it could be black jeans, could even be khaki jeans, and then boots. Or like black loafers or shell cordovan. But like this is like the general look that I would do, and you know I'm sure everyone's like, "Oh, Ethan, you were so obvious." Yeah, but I mean, like, I don't want to toot my own horn here, but like, everyone loved it. You know what I mean? Like, I think, like, like, I'm sure, like, if Spencer went to like a college party, and he still wore like military clothes. Like, no one's gonna be like, "Who the fuck?" Like, people probably know Spencer for wearing that
Yeah.
shit. You know, like,
I'm that guy.
I never understand. It's just like with like work, where like I had like the whole work critique, where it's like you go to this place and all of a sudden like every other context about you is gone and everyone judges you by your clothing. Like that literally does not happen. You know, like here I might not. Okay, here's the thing. So here's this party is a great example of like sad energy in effect, because it's like this party, obviously I know some people, I didn't know some other people, and I'm there wearing that stuff, and everyone's like, yeah, dude, you look sharp. Some people said you look dapper. It's fine, they don't. That's a compliment from them, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, Ethan, you're gonna swim. Like, no, like I'm not swimming. I gotta go somewhere later. Like, oh, cool, fine. That's it. Like, no one cares. Like, no one's gonna be like, you're wearing that to the pool. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna be at the fucking pool. I'm gonna be sitting down with my other friends drinking. Like, I don't have to be in pool attire. You know what I mean? And of course, here's the thing though. Like, even the host of the party, who I've never met before, but we would chat, in the online Discord that we're in. He knows me because he had seen my blog. Like, I mean, it's not, I guess, uncommon now that someone's like, "Oh yeah, I saw you on Reddit or something," right? And so I look exactly like they would think I would look at a party. I'm not wearing a suit, but I'm wearing like a blazer. Like, oh yeah, Ethan looks sharp or whatever, And it might help that I'm there, like I'm drinking, I'm having a good time. I'm not like in a fucking corner reading a book like Ben Shapiro. You guys see that TikTok or that
was
clip where
that was like really bad.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, like Ben Shapiro's like, oh, when I went to parties in college, I would always bring a book because I would always get bored and it's a waste of time. So, but like if you don't do that, then you'll be fucking fine.
Normal person.
Like, yeah.
Just be a regular guy. That's what I've been saying to people for so long.
Just don't be weird.
Just be a regular
guy.
Yeah. It's fine.
Man, you can be weird at a party and not be in a suit, man. Like you can like it doesn't matter at that point, Like if you went to this party and everyone here is so nice, but like if there was a guy here at the party wearing like t-shirts, sweatpants, sat in the corner, didn't want to drink anything, didn't want to eat anything, and just kept to himself, I'd be like, okay, that guy's weird. like that's the real real weirdo. But like here, it's like fun. It probably helps, that I'm a photographer, so like having a camera on, it's like, oh, Ethan can live in these clothes. You know what I mean? Like it gives you some context.
And also just like having a camera around your neck, I feel like that's like no one's gonna ask you, are you getting in the pool? Like, of course not. I have a camera around my neck.
Yeah, I'm not crazy here. It also helps, like, if you like, you don't have to, like, we're not encouraging you to drink. Okay, that's not we are.
In fact, we think if you do that, you should you go to hell.
Yes, right. But it's like, have a beer while you're there, have like a soda, or like do a shot. Like if you see the guy in the suit doing a shot, like I feel like, oh, that guy's fine. Like like it's that guy's fitting in. First time I took a Jello shot, all the donuts. yeah, exactly. This guy's cool too. What sucked is that I had eaten lunch with my girlfriend like a couple hours, and we had I had cinnamon roll French toast, by the way.
Nice.
Ooh.
It was so good. We got to go there. It's Pasadena. It's a great diner, great service. But I had gone there and yeah. But I had they had lemonade there too, Taylor. Don't worry about it. But what was it called? I was full, and so I paid obviously they had to pay for like a cleaning crew because there's a bunch of people there and everything like that. So the fee to get in was like $20 or whatever. You also had to pay, and they also had like the free drinks obviously, and then they had it catered like Chinese food. And I'm sad I couldn't eat it, but I couldn't because I was so full. And I had to go to a thing afterward with my girlfriend, which was a family party, and I feel like it looks worse if I go to a family party and I don't eat the family's food. Like that's a worse faux pas.
But you don't want to you don't want to force it.
Yeah, and it's also like, so I was like, you know what, I can just take the L, and like, I mean, I paid $25 to go to this party. I had fun. I had 2 drinks, and got to meet some cool people. But like, it was fine. So, and the fun thing is, a lot of people are like, oh, don't be that guy to say, well, I'm casual, I'm wearing patch pockets. So like, I don't do that. But a person did ask like, oh, Ethan, how are you wearing that when it's hot? and you take it off and you show them how open weave it is, everyone was like, "Oh, that's so sick!"
Mhm.
Like everyone was so like
People get it.
bewildered.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean
If they
they can
see
see
it.
how.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're like, "Oh, that's cool." And they're like, "Oh yeah, I get it." Like your shirt's unbuttoned. I'm like, "Yeah, it's hot outside." And I was like, "Yeah, cool, Ethan. Catch you later." I'm like, "Yeah, see you around." Like it's not that big of a deal, And I think that even if I was wearing a tie, I wouldn't, by the way. But if I was, I feel like it'd be fine. Like Ethan and MJ went to like a dinner at like a Chinese restaurant after a trade show, and I think we weren't fancy, but we were like dressed up, right? Like
Yeah.
we were wearing like turtlenecks and like chore jackets with like work pants and everything. We don't look like a t-shirt tank top wearing guy, but like it was fine,
Yeah.
and it's whatever. I mean, obviously, I did stand out. I think if
Hmm.
MJ also came to this party, we would both be wearing probably similar outfits and but like, it's fine. You got like I don't think anyone else actually comes close to what I'm wearing, so like
Probably. Yeah.
like
That's
Everyone.
yeah,
okay.
yeah, it's fine. Like, like you got the TikTok girls in the right there with all the dyed hair. You got a lot of tank tops and graphic tee. Yeah, you got a lot of tank tops. I mean, it's a pool, man. It's
It's
fine.
a
Like
damn pool. Everyone's just gonna
yeah,
cops.
it's fine. Everyone was like super nice and non-judgmental. And if they were, they kept to themselves, so that's fine too. Um, but yeah, I mean, like worst. I mean, if I was really curious, I could have just asked, right? Like, hey,
Yeah.
what's the dress code to the party? You know,
Mhm.
What are
like,
you wearing?
yeah, what are
What
you
are
wearing?
you
Or ask a
wearing?
friend. You
Mhm.
know, like the group I came in with, since we had the carpool because it was like limited space and it was like in a gated community, so like we have everyone was encouraged to carpool at least with one other person, and so like but the people in my car like they also did not swim, so it was like fine, you know.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, like what's your guys' party attire? Like I already like mine's
Well, like I said, it
rayon
really
shirt
it
and
it really
everything.
depends on like who's inviting me because if I remember and know that it's a pool party, I
Mhm.
probably won't. I will probably just do like a very like casual Spencer outfit of
Yeah,
like
Yeah.
just like jeans or like chinos or whatever and like a lightweight jacket. But I would just bring a swimsuit, my like one swimsuit with me.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
but if I'm going to like a party that it's like, oh, this is gonna be like a cool, like I want to, like look cool and impress people. Like we talked about that, the kind of like going out looks where it's easier for me in the fall and winter just because I have like two summer sport coats. But I like doing like sport coat with like rayon shirt or western shirt, whatever. Like
Mhm.
just kind of like I said, like edgy, uh, like kind of 70s, kind of like 40s, 50s, whatever,
Right.
like
Yeah.
retro looks. But
Yeah.
That's kind of, you know, I mean, yeah, it's about like kind of putting an edge, and again we'll get into this in a future podcast episode about like dressing cinematically and matching the energy of the event that you're going to. Something that
Mhm.
we've kind of teased about like having menswear community and being slouchy, but maybe specifically dressing for context. We'll probably get into that, hopefully before the end of the year. We have a lot of stuff planned. But
Mhm.
yeah, MJ, what about you? Party attire. I know that we've got to some things.
Yeah. Um. Well, yeah, like Spencer said, it depends, but I guess like quote unquote regular party, um, it would usually be like a chore, like work, basically lean into workwear slash
Hmm.
mil, uh, military jackets, jungle jackets, chore
Hmm.
coats, and then just like jeans, jeans or
Right.
chinos to
What
blend
oh,
in.
and you got your new
Um,
Chelsea boots too, right? Your Docs or
yes,
whatever. Yeah.
I have Chelsea boots. I wear loafers still every now and then, even if I'm going to like it's like a Filipino party, so my shoes come off anyways at the door.
Yeah. Put on your
Um,
chinilas.
yeah. Um, but yeah, nothing too crazy. Obviously, if like we're all together, it's different.
It makes it better.
Um,
Yeah,
and
obviously.
yeah, like you said, the whole energy matching, context matching kind of plays plays sort of a role in choosing what to wear. But
Okay, take a
yeah,
shot.
I know. I was like, where did it come from? But yeah, not afraid to wear a jacket. I mean, I've worn like
Well, yeah.
menswear to like family parties or like just like
Well,
birthdays and stuff like
yeah.
that. So
I mean, all of these things, like you presumably, I mean, I can't speak for Spencer, but like you and I have gone to parties where we know at least people going.
Yeah.
You know, maybe
yeah,
maybe we don't know the host
Mhm.
yeah.
sometimes, but it's
But
kind of like,
even if we
yeah,
don't
yeah, go ahead.
know the like the majority of people, I mean,
Uh-huh.
we've gone to a handful of things where it's like out of the I don't know, let's say out of the 50, 60 people, we know like
Yeah,
10 people, you know. But it's
Yeah.
right.
still like it's still fine. Nobody's gonna be like
Well,
who
And
brought
I
those gifts?
well,
and I
so
mean I
here's
feel like we also like I feel like we understand social context enough where we
Yeah.
well, speaking of social content, here's something
yeah.
I thought was interesting. Because Mr. T, patron of the Patreon, silentdirections.patreon.com, Discord, he put a couple comments in here that maybe we could discuss before we move into the rayon shirt thing, which ties in
Mm.
because rayon shirts are like the ultimate party shirt because they look good, they have vintage connotations, like
And
it
what
works
else
for
do you
like
want at a
winter
party other than vintage connotations?
vintage connotations. Yeah,
Yeah.
VCs. But so here's something. I think that, I think we're all pretty low key people, not with dress, but with like personality. Like we're
Mm.
not, I don't think any of us are like, maybe my party was like a good example of like me going crazy, but like typically at parties, like we don't like, we're not the guy who like, let's all do karaoke, let's all like, or like,
Yeah.
let's all like, who's doing
Yeah.
shots? So, but there is a part of us who still wants to make like an impression. So I think our clothes kind of play into that. So it's like that whole idea of at a party, do you want to stand out or blend in? And I think none of us want to blend in, but it's about standing out in different ways at the
Uh-huh.
party. That's kind of something like it's maybe it's a personality thing. Again, I think most people like all most of us in the friend group, I might be a little bit more social, but like I think most of us are a little bit more introverted in that way. Like we're not instigating shots, we're not instigating like the music, like we're not doing that part of it. But people do recognize like they notice us for our
Well,
clothes.
yeah, so it's like I'm
And
not like I don't like being the like center of attention, but I also I don't want to just like
I like being noticed.
I'm not a wallflower. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, that's where the Taylor says that's where the anime shirt comes in. I mean,
Yeah.
I also like if I wore like an anime. I mean, I would still so at this one maybe if I was being a little bit smarter, I would have maybe worn like a merch T-shirt, like my band T-shirts or like a Star Wars
Yeah.
T-shirt with my blazer, which I've done a lot of like this past
Hmm.
year. Um, if that's like a conversation thing, but I mean, but people obviously would in my head, people were like, oh, you're wearing like a blazer. It doesn't matter if you're wearing a T-shirt or something, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like it didn't really matter at that point. Um,
But it's like one of those
but
things where it's like you meet that's how you kind of like meet people that know. Like if it's like if you know sort of thing. Like
well, yeah, a lot of
um
people did say like, "Oh, I love your like aloha shirt or your
yeah.
Hawaiian shirt or something." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's
Yeah.
cool," you know. But yeah, that idea about standing out versus blending in is like kind of important here because again, I think well, I guess on the topic of knowing the host, like the couple of stuff that MJ had been to, people knew us beforehand. So like again, how we dressed wasn't a big surprise. You
Hmm.
know, it's like I mean, like so for context, this party was in this Discord that I'm in about Asian Americans, and a guy made an event. It's like, hey, let's have like a little summer party. Again, everyone's vaccinated, everyone plan everything ahead of time. Um, and but people already knew like, oh yeah, Ethan's the guy who posts in photography, who posts in the fashion channel. Um, so going
Hmm.
to this thing is not that big of a deal. Just like if I mean, honestly, for me and MJ, like this is probably the biggest source of our parties that we go to anyway. So
Yeah.
it's not like out of left field for any of this
Hmm.
stuff.
I also think that
Yeah,
going back to the we already know people at this stuff.
yeah,
Um, they already kind of have their own idea or their own style. So even if it's not like exactly one to one, they're kind of like, oh, that's just how this other person dresses, and
yeah.
they kind of get it like to that extent. So it's not like weird.
Right. I think and I think it's like I think maybe I've mentioned this before, but like at this stuff, like we have our own friend, even within this like this very general wholesome friend group. Like we have our own friends who kind of get us. So, like when you hang out with like like-minded people, like Adam or Annie or
Mhm.
like our friend Emily here, like it still makes sense. It's like if you went to a party dressed goth, but then you hung out with the goth kids, no one's gonna care because then you'll look like a goth kid there. You know what I mean? Like you just kind of fit in. Um, and it always makes you wonder like how other people do this. Like, are you friends with people who don't get you? Like,
Hmm.
how
Yeah,
does this?
that hate the
How
way
does
you
that?
dress.
Yeah, how does that fucking work? I don't understand it. You know.
Yeah.
Um, it's it's just wild that people have to have this. Maybe it's because people are kind of not stuck in that friend group, but like
Get new friends.
it could be an older thing too, like an adult thing versus us, where like you have a lot of,
Yeah.
when you have like discords and communities that you have a lot of options to choose from,
But
to
again,
hang
it's
out.
like it's like kind of a hard time believing like whatever
Yeah.
scenario happens that, whoa, this guy, man, who invited MJ? Like, can you believe like what he wore to, you know, to Spencer's party? Like, dude, like it's like not
Well,
that the, like
it's one of those things too where like I think it's also not just on the fault of you having those bad friends, but like social currency is again maybe an important topic for us for me, us three to talk about in the future. But like I think that if you want to dress creatively, you have to give back to society, to this, whatever social circle you're in an interesting way. Like you can't just take attention from people. Does that make sense? Like you can't like so okay. So for example, I dress like this for the party, but like the reason I was there wasn't to show off the fit. I gave back by photographing other people. So that makes, I mean, not like it's not supposed to be transactional, like, oh, I'm gonna make them like me, but I genuinely like taking pictures. So it becomes like, oh yeah, Ethan's the photographer guy, not Ethan the suit guy.
Yeah.
Like
right.
like it's like if you went to a party and you wore a suit, but then you brought in like a bunch of booze, like no one's gonna hate you, right? Or if you brought
Yeah.
like like, oh, pizza on me, guys, like, or whatever, just I mean, it's like what MJ said, just be a fucking cool person.
Just be a
Like it's
normal
not,
guy.
yeah,
It's
be a
Yeah.
it's
normal
easy.
dude.
Don't act weird.
Yeah.
If you are if
It's
you
like,
are like a cool normal guy, dress cool, people will like you. Not that hard.
yeah. So it's like, if you go to a party and you like intentionally get the dress code wrong on purpose, or if you expect everyone to kind of bend to your will, I feel like that's not what a normal person does. And
Right.
I also think that like if you have that mentality, you're probably not meant to wear menswear in the way that we are.
Yeah.
Like not to
Mhm.
be gatekeeping, but it's like if you have a personality that wants to blend in and not cause any fuss, but then you also want to wear like a fucking blazer to a pool party, like you can't have it both ways. Like you gotta
Yeah.
you gotta interact with people, right?
Uh-huh.
Well,
Like you
And it's
gotta
like
gotta get back.
no, like we it's once again one of those things where if you just start talking to someone, like I feel like I can go to a party, you know, fucking, dress like it's like 1969, wearing like a bunch of like
Nice.
military shit, and then when
Yeah.
but I talk to someone, I'm like, oh yeah, I host a menswear podcast, like I'm a student journalist, whatever. Like all of a sudden, the clothes make sense. It's like one of those things
Yeah.
It's
where
cool. Yeah.
Like
it's
it's gotta like
people
line up.
if you talk to people and they get to know you, and then like all of a sudden it's like, yeah, I understand why he dresses this way. Like I get it now.
I mean, it's kind of like what Taylor just said about the anime T-shirt. It's like you wear like a fucking crazy reference. Someone goes like, "Oh, what's that?" And you go, "Oh, it's anime." Like, "Oh, okay, you're wearing like a merch
Mhm.
T-shirt. Like that's cool." Like it.
Yeah.
I don't get how people don't get this. It's like I always wonder if these menswear guys like they don't see the connotations to other things, or they're ashamed of it. Maybe like
It
it's
kind
it.
of
Yeah, go ahead.
it kind of like, well, I don't know how much it is a little bit of a tangent but still related because it reminds me of how like reasons why we don't like menswear YouTube or menswear like mainstream
Yeah, yeah,
content
yeah.
creators, where it's like the things that you want to signal to a room when you walk in, or like to
Mm.
to find a girlfriend, or to find to assert your power to like other men in the room. It's like you're just the mentality's all wrong, even if you're in the same
Yeah,
hobby or whatever than us,
Yeah.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's wrong.
Yeah.
You're all
I mean, it's
dumbasses. Fuck
I
you.
mean, it's like, when I walk into the party, right? It's like you don't walk in and put your hands on your lapel like you're a fucking Napoleon painting. You go in there, grab a beer, take a picture of your friend, chug in the, chug
not to be not to sound too, like or self-absorbed, I guess. But it's like, I feel like if you look cool, you can get away with it. But no,
Yeah.
I mean, like, there's a difference
gotta act
between
yeah.
between the menswear guy who, without naming anyone specific, wears like white tie to go to the club with all his normal dressed friends, and then, like, again, like, not to toot our horns too much, but us who just look cool and dress more or less for the occasion, like make more of an attempt. It's
But it's all, I mean, to be fair, the picture of that particular gentleman, he does seem to be having friends, so maybe it's not as bad,
yeah.
But, it's like here, it's like totally fine.
Yeah, he obviously
Um,
keeps going back, so it's not like
Yeah.
Or
I mean, you
how about
can't-
the
you can't be
difference
too
between
hard.
like that, or like, the like suit guy that you would know in like high school or college who gets everything like thrifted, and nothing wrong with thrifting, but nothing fits right, nothing particularly like looks good. It's just
Right, it's
someone
just
who
the idea
decided,
of wearing the
I want
suit,
to wear a
yeah.
suit, but never actually learning how to do it. Like, there's, that's I think some people might think that's the suit guy at a party, but we try not
Right.
to be that.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of a thing where, like, clubs make less sense for this, right? Because it's like you don't know the club, but like parties that friends host, I feel like are all like, as MJ says, it's always gonna be okay because there's context. Like,
Mm-hmm.
maybe stop going to things where you're gonna be on the wrong foot. Like Mr. T put here, the difference between going to a normie party versus one that your current friends enjoy. But like, what if they're like, you can make it the same thing, you know? Like here, again, obviously not meant to people, but like they kind of get it. Like I've shown up to board games wearing a blazer, and they know that. So it's like it's not a big deal. You kind of like what I talked about, like at the corporate thing, you gotta stack the deck. You gotta make it so you don't fail. And that could
Yeah.
be, introducing your friends to this early on, being a nice person, being interesting, giving back, like offer to help out, like to show that you don't care. Like, oh, like, hey, can someone take these wet towels? Sure. Like, oh, Ethan's in the blazer. Like, I don't care. I'm here to help out. Whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like it doesn't matter. Help carry the shots. Or pick up the food. Right. Like at the worst, you're just gonna pay for a dry cleaning bill. Like it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Like
It's so easy.
maybe don't paint someone's house in a blazer, obviously. But like
Don't
if
change
it's something
somebody's
like
oil
this,
in a suit.
yeah. If like if a bunch of people in the pool are like, hey, take a picture of us, like, yeah, why not? It's whatever, man. Like, I think that adds to the slouch of it. But the thing is, I don't think menswear guys want to do that. If they went to this party, well, they probably wouldn't go to the party. First of all, I don't think. But if they did, they'd probably like not want to be themselves, or dress like themselves, which is fine. Everyone's got different agendas, but like, if I think
Mm-hmm.
that we all, at least us three, prefer to like kind of have some semblance of personal style at this thing.
And my
And it's,
agenda is to implant everyone with a microchip.
Yeah. I'm already
is your
halfway
name
there.
Bill Gates?
Yeah, not to spread any misinformation. Sorry, Twitch, but
Yeah, we're
we're,
gonna
make,
get
we're,
a
make,
disclaimer.
we're making a joke right now. We're making a joke.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's kind of like party attire, if
Party
if you
time.
guys think party time. I'm curious if any of you guys watching have any thoughts about party
Yeah.
attire or anything like that. But let me write this down because it's
9:14.
one thing, yeah, 9:14 or technically 55 minutes. But one thing I do want to say about this is like, uh obviously no one is like us. We have
No one's like us.
we have pretty big balls to do. I mean, we
I'm not
do a
like
lot
other
of
boys.
we do a lot of questionable stuff. Okay, like we all wear questionable stuff that maybe not may not pass for certain events, but we do it anyway because I think at the end of the day, like it is what we want to do, and we'll take the L for you. I feel like if we have to go to a party and we are booed out of there for wearing a blazer, at least we know what the line was this time. Like
Yeah.
we'll go through that. But it's like clearly here at like a 40-person or maybe it's a 30-person party, the pool, with other early millennial Zoomer Asians, like fine. I was able to wear a double-breasted blazer and a rayon shirt, like yeah, high-waisted selvage jeans and R. Williams Chelsea boots. Like now you guys know it's perfectly fine, so you can do it too.
Yeah.
Unless you have some jank ass friends,
And if somebody tells you it's not, then it's a bad party.
Also, I could have just
Bad
taken out the
party.
jacket at any point. That's
Right.
also an option.
And he chose
That's-
not to.
and-
Modularity.
well, yeah, exactly. But that's because I was already fine. But if I did have to, I could just put in the fucking corner, put on the coat rack, and then just be like, oh yeah, look at that guy wearing jeans and an aloha shirt. Cool dude with a camera. Fine. Like that's always going to be an option at a party. But hey, if you guys ever come to our parties, you can wear whatever the fuck you want.
That's
Whatever
right.
that is.
Yeah, come to the Style and Direction barbecue.
Yeah. Help us find our line for
That's
party
right.
attire.
Yeah.